on to another episode of Career Tip Tuesday. We are your co-host, Sherry Sims, founder of Black Career Women's Network, and then we also have.
I'm Makita Matthews, the Chief Network Officer of BCWN. Happy Tuesday, everyone.
All right, so today on Career Tip Tuesday, we are going to be talking about, drum roll please, why your job needs an expiration date.
Yes, and many of us do not think about this when we take new roles or while we're in seats. So we are really excited to talk to you all today about why your job needs an expiration date. Something we all need to think about and be very cognizant of.
Absolutely. So while we're waiting for some of for people to come in, when you do come in, please let us know where you are watching from. We'd love to know where you are, where you're watching. I know Makita's going to have to hop off really quickly here in a little bit, so I will keep it going as we get through all of the reasons why your job needs an expiration date. But before we kind of go into each of these, you know, Michaela, let's talk a bit about really quickly about what gets you to this point, and then why this is important before we break down the reasons or the things you should be doing and why your job needs an expiration date. Overall, let's talk about why this is important before we break down some of the things you should be doing.
Mhm. All right. So, one of the reasons why this is important is because you don't want to get stuck doing one thing.
Hmm.
Nowadays, to continue to climb the ladder or, get that raise, get that title, whatever you're looking for, you need a plethora of experiences. And so, to just sit in a job nowadays for 10 years, like our wonderful parents and our elders used to do. It's no longer a question. You don't want to get stagnant. You don't want to just not learn new skills, pick up new competencies, etc. You want to be able to get a breadth of these things, and this is why you can't just sit in your position any longer.
So let's just say hi to the reviewing real quick. We've got Janae from Michigan. There is Camalisha from Norfolk and Shanika from San Antonio. We have Angela from Oakland, Erica from LA, Tashana from New Jersey. Meredith's here. I don't know where she's at, but welcome. Oh, we have somebody from Oklahoma in the house, my home state. Rashonda, welcome. Meredith from DC. We have Janice from Birmingham. We also have Sylvia from St. Louis. Sylvia Petty, are you a BCW member? Your name looks familiar. Tamika's in Texas. Brittany's in Atlanta.
Hey, Brittany.
Brittany, we're coming to your city, lady, with our business summit on April 22nd. We have Deasia, she's in Newark. Okay, and we have Atlanta Shakira. We're coming to your city, lady. Margaret's from New York. We have Mississippi in the house too. Loving it. And then we have Valerie from Philly. Then we have a link to use from Chicago. There's more, but we got to keep going.
Yes, we do.
Thank you so much for sharing this. So we're going today, for those of you who are just now joining, this is Career Tip Tuesday, and I'm your host, Sherry Sims. We have Akita Matthews, our Chief Network Officer. And we're talking today about why your job needs an expiration date. So the first thing I want to share when it comes to talking about why your job needs an expiration date is creating a strategic plan, or what some of the people will call it is creating your exit strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. We should be thinking about the roles that we're in, about what skill sets do we want to gain, what do we want to gain from this role that is going to elevate us to the next level. We should always be thinking about this when we're in our current roles. And other counterparts, they do it all the time. They're not just thinking about how can they master the role they're in. They're looking at what can they gain from this role that can move them to that next level. And this is the mindset that as Black women, we need to adopt as well, is to say, in my current role, am I getting everything I need that can elevate me to this next level? In other words, can it keep me marketable, and can it also increase my income potential?
That's right. And creating this strategic plan is so crucial because you are in charge of your career. Not anybody else, not your manager, not, HR, not the company. you. So you must create this plan to be able to be cognizant and keep track of the things that you need to get out of your career, out of this position.
So that first thing you need to think about when you start to create this exit strategy or this plan is one, what skills do you want to gain? What skill sets do you want to gain while you're in your current role? Right. I think, whether it is you want to know how to facilitate public speaking, maybe you want to learn how to do a P&L if you have access to something like that. What is it specifically that you want to gain in this role that you know is going to elevate you to the next level? So that's why it's more of a strategic plan, because you are being strategic about what you're trying to navigate and accomplish when you're in the role. I would say the next thing you want to think about are, what are some of the goals that you want to accomplish?
That's right.
What are some of the goals that you want to accomplish? Simply because it's not just about getting skill sets, but goals that you want to accomplish. Because when you're moving to a next level, people want to know what you've been able to achieve, whether
That's
it is you were able to save the company, $15 million because of this particular process, or a procedure you were able to to execute and implement. So again, thinking about that may be a little bit broad for some, but think about in the scope of your work, what do you want to accomplish? It's going to keep you attractive and marketable for that next lesson. Anything you want
right.
to add to that, Makita?
Yeah, I would add, don't rush this process. Actually sit down, take time, carve out an hour, hour and a half, and actually think about these things. This isn't something that should be done in 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. Actually take some time out and do these things. It is well worth it. It's going to be valuable. And on top of that, these are some of the things, the skills that you want to gain, the goals that you want to accomplish. You can utilize these things at your end of the year or your biannual review, right? So think about these things before you even get to this place. And as Sherry said, to keep you marketable, to let people know that you've accomplished this, you've gained this skill, just go ahead and put it in your annual or your biannual review.
And speaking of annual review, the next one would be to assess the skills you need for your next level. So you need to know, while you're in the role trying to gain the skills that you feel like you need to gain, you need to know what skills you need for that next level too. So look at what you currently have and what you feel like that you need to fill in the blanks for,
Right.
and start focusing on gaining those skills.
That's right.
Master the ones you currently have. Any weaknesses you have, manage weaknesses, because you cannot master a weakness, you can only manage it.
That's right.
And then make sure that you get those to a place that makes sense.
And one of the best ways to assess the skills you need for the next level is to simply talk to the person or people who have the job that you want. What's that next level? Talk to them, as
Mhm.
well as their peers. Who do they work with? Understand what skill set you need to be able to effectively partner and collaborate with these folks, as well as Sherry said, manage your weaknesses. I completely agree. Can't master them, you can only manage them. So try to get some feedback from some of the folks you currently work with about, hey, where do you see some improvement opportunities to understand? Being self-aware as you create this exit strategy or this strategic plan is really key.
And I would say too, if you want to think about this, ask yourself, how long do you want to stay in the role?
Mhm.
Okay. How long do you want to stay in this role? And again, some people say, not, we're not talking about the company, okay? Because you may want to stay with the company for a long time, but how long do you want to stay in this position? And if you say, I want to stay in this position for 24 months, then that strategic plan or slash exit strategy needs to be very aggressive in terms of what you're trying to accomplish within that time frame. You also need to keep room for challenges you may have,
That's right.
whether it's in the scope of the work, or the challenges may be with the relationships of the people that you're working with,
Mhm.
giving yourself time to work through those. Because here's the thing, it's not all about just the skill sets. your part of your elevation is being able to have those soft skills, the ability to build relationships, resolve conflicts, all those other things. And maybe you got the skill set part down, but maybe what you do need to work on is your relationship building, your networking, your all of those things that are important too for that next level.
That's right. That's right.
So I think that's important too.
Couldn't agree more. And just think about it. It depends on role, right? So, for example, if you are in finance and you put in a strategic initiative, and that initiative you are assuming might be realized next year, then you want to make sure that you are there to be able to understand, okay, was this what I thought it was? Did it hit my goals or did it miss, and why? And potentially think about, well, what do you need to change? All of that stuff, all of the learning, all of the insights from understanding what you're putting in place and the results should be, considered as you think about how long you want to stay in this role.
Yes. Like, and yeah, and again, be realistic about it because that can absolutely change in terms of that. And then here's the next question you want to think about too. What are the signs when it's time to go? Because you can get comfortable in the role and say, you know what, I know I said I only want to be in this role 2 years, but things are going good. Maybe I'm not ready just yet. So you have to look at what are the signs when it's time to go. And that's really up to you. We all know when there's a shift in how things are working. And when we need to think about, you want to put a hard date. We're not saying you say, okay, my last date is April 1st, 2025, right? It could be, but it may be you like, you know what, I want to be gone by second quarter of 2025, right? And whatever date that may be, whatever date actually organically comes up on its own. So you don't have to put this hard date on it. But what you want to do is say, this is my last year here, or this is my last 6 months, or again, by quarter 3, I'm out of here, or by quarter 3, I want to have that next level role, or maybe in quarter 1, I'm going to start job searching for the next role, and then quarter 2, I'm hoping to land an offer. So thinking about it from that perspective is important.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Cynthia says, "Is shadowing a thing anymore?"
I would say so. And if it's not, then you're putting yourself up and giving yourself a competitive advantage by actually shadowing. I don't think that I don't think that shadowing will hurt you in a negative way, but I definitely do see it as a positive to
Yeah, and I think
move yourself up.
you're right about that. And I think it's, again, sometimes shadowing just depends on the role, the industry. I think it still can be a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are some employers who still value shadowing very much so. And I think it's okay for you as an employee who is looking to create a career path within an organization to request shadowing.
That's
Um,
right.
and if you're denied that, then that means they're not open minded enough to say we're not valuing or really looking at how we can make sure we're cultivating the people that are in our workforce who want to stay and want to grow within the organization. So again,
That's
that's one of those signs that you want to think about it's time to go and get what you need elsewhere. Not saying you should, but it's something you could evaluate and consider. Um, Camille says, "How can one branch out in this outside of social media?" So I guess what she's asking is, how can she job search outside of social media? Is that what you're asking, Camille? Not
Yeah,
quite.
Camille, could you give us a little bit more context about what you mean
Yeah, and that way we can be more than happy to answer that. Meredith says, "Great idea. I've never considered shadowing before."
there?
Absolutely. And again, read the room, assess who your leader is, because again, not everyone is probably going to be open to shadowing, or they may have their own perception of what shadowing is. So if you're working for an organization that's not part of their culture and you're asking for that, you need to
Mhm.
be very specific as to why you're asking for it and the benefit of that so you can be supported in making it happen.
Right. Okay, so Camille says networking aspects. So I think what you're asking is how can you network with BCWN and members um, outside of social media, outside of LinkedIn and Facebook. Um, we are just now getting back into physical events. We will be doing some additional stuff in Atlanta, and Sherry is currently located in Cincinnati. So that would be one thing. But as it relates to industry specific or job related things, look at the networking organizations or maybe National Black MBA or the Black Chamber of Commerce or the Women's Business Enterprise National Council, or if you're in finance, NABA or something. Look at different organizations in your area and in your industry that actually have physical events for you to go and network.
Yes, and like it's on target with the association industry. Your industry associations are a great place to start. With Bella, says great. Getting a great mentor is also key, and you're absolutely
Mhm.
right, Bella. We have an amazing mentor program. It has over 100 mentors in it. So
Mhm.
you're more than welcome to explore that. Go to our bcwnetwork.com page. It is exclusive to our members who are part of our organization. So if you do become a member, you will have exclusive access to the mentors that are in our program. So, and that's something we try to make sure that we are providing to Black women in this workspace, because we know sometimes a mentor is hard to find. All right. It looks like Shanika says, for those of us who may be retired, how can we stay engaged so we remain marketable if we choose to go back to work later? Great.
Great question. Great question. So, Shanika, I do not know what you have done in the past. However, there are plenty of nonprofits or charity organizations that I'm so sure you can volunteer at and kind of keep your skill set up. I know that. So, if you're in marketing, many of them need marketing help. If you're in project management, many of them need project management help. And one of the good things about volunteering your time is you can do it on your time. You can work as much as you want, as little as you want, when you want, etc. So look at some, nonprofits to donate your time at. Stay connected to industry specific organizations. Stay connected with the professionals in that industry. Have coffee or lunch or whatever quarterly. Those are some good ways to remain engaged. So if you do decide to go back to work, your name, you won't be a stranger.
Yeah, and I would say leverage profession, like leverage LinkedIn and write articles or blogs, or comment on specific articles, blogs, and pages. That way, and you're lending your expertise. People are seeing that, they'll be able to see some of that, that knowledge that you have, and that it's relevant, and keeping that out there. So that would be a great way to do that too, unless you decide you want to create a whole brand, your whole own brand around certain things, but that's another level of work you would need to do. But I think, like Makita, starting with volunteering, and leveling up your engagement on LinkedIn, and offering up your insight and expertise in that area would be good too.
Yeah.
All right. So I know Makita's got to hop off now and leave us. But I'm going to hang on with you guys to answer some more questions for a little bit.
Yeah.
I got a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Um, and we'll just kind of share with you what the things we got coming up. You want to talk
Yeah.
about a mentor summit in Atlanta before you go? Or you have?
Yes, just really quickly, I hate that I have to hop off because this is such a good conversation. I see all the comments and the questions, and I want to stay, but I just can't. But for all of you who are in Atlanta, the Atlanta metro area, or even Georgia, BCWM will be having its inaugural Mentor Summit in Atlanta, April 22nd from 10 a.m. to about 2:15. We are so excited. We've got a slew of amazing mentors, industry titans, and great, just amazing Black women, dynamic Black women that are ready to provide advice, insights, and help you all gain clarity in your career. Registration is still open. We have a couple of seats left for priority, probably like 10 or 11 or so off the top of my head. And you guys want that. You guys want those priority seats. You'll get more time with the mentors. You'll be closer. You'll be able to just pick their brains a little bit more. So that's something that you want to leverage. Sherry will speak more about it before you guys hop off, but I am glad I was able to come on again. So sorry that I have to leave, and you're left in good hands with Sherry.
All right. Thanks,
Bye,
Makita.
everyone.
Talk to you soon. All right. We'll go ahead and keep things going here. Camille Scott, yes, I've attended a few seminars with my field. Thank you. I'm on my way to new enhancements. Absolutely. Shanika says, EEO background. Thank you. I have been doing that. Just wanted to make sure. And then Bella says, I would be interested in the mentor program. At the moment, I'm very struck in moving up the ranks with finance sector in UK. As a matter of fact, I know that we do have a couple of mentors that are in our program from the UK, Bella. So I do recommend that you go to our website and become a member so you can gain access to the mentoring program. Cynthia says, in regards to that volunteering, what percentage of free 99 should you be offering a week? That's up to you, Cynthia, how much you want to, how much of your time you want to offer up. Again, it depends on the program and all of those things. Again, making sure it's a win-win for not only them, but for you, and that it's keeping you relevant and your skill sets current and on top of what you're trying to accomplish and gain as a volunteer of that space. So I think that's important to also understand too, specifically around what you're wanting to, what you want to still accomplish within that space. It looks like, yeah, Shanika said it was a great question. It is a great question. I thought it was too. You own that. With you being a volunteer, you own your time. Is it you own the time about how much you want to be able to give to that organization. So that's what you do for you, and that's important. The one thing I also want to talk about too that we didn't cover is benchmarking your progress. When you're talking about creating an exit strategy and you are serious about keeping it within a time frame, if you say within 24 months, I want to be able to accomplish A, B, and C, I want to be able to have this many people in my network, I want to be able to have these things. Benchmark your progress. You don't have to do it weekly or daily, but I would probably do it quarterly and go back and see what you've been able to accomplish within that time frame. If you're serious about being out of that role in a certain time frame, you have to get laser focused if you are wanting to meet that job expiration date that you have put upon yourself in the role, and then making sure that you accomplish everything that you want to achieve within that role. Benchmark your progress, because again, we have to be realistic about challenges and obstacles that we may face. And if you do have challenges and obstacles that you're facing, you want to make sure that you realistically give yourself time to overcome those so you can continue to get yourself either back on track, or if you have to push back how long you stay. So again, it really is all about how long you want to stay and what you're trying to accomplish. And here's the thing: if you say, I'm going to give myself 2 years to accomplish these things, and you do it within 12 months, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to leave. You may want to stay a little longer, because you may want to explore what else can you achieve, or what else can you gain within this role that can prepare you for the next level. So again, I think you have to think clearly about, if you're a high achiever, and again, if you go back and you achieve these things early, you don't have to say, oh, I'm out of here now. There may be, to stay around and be patient, because there may be something coming up that can give you some additional exposure, or it could possibly set you up for that next level. And it could be a networking opportunity, maybe a project that's going to increase your visibility, because that's one thing we haven't talked about, is how you need to increase your visibility in that time frame as well. So again, all of these things really honestly are about you staying focused on what you're trying to accomplish within the time frame and not getting sidetracked. And if you say to yourself, you know what, I was supposed to leave this job 2 years ago, and now I've been in it for 4, then you need to ask yourself, why are you staying? Is it out of comfort? Is the salary good? Maybe, this has been a great for your lifestyle or what have you, and that's okay. But again, is it still feeding you? And are you maximizing your gifts and your talents to your fullest potential where you are? Because we can get to a point where we can max out, and then now it's time to look for something else that can pull us and stretch us in a whole new direction or a whole new way. So I would say, while you're on this journey of really thinking about creating an exit strategy for your role, and we're talking about strategically. We're not talking today about bad bosses and toxic workplaces and kind of saying it's time to get the hell out of here, because that stuff is obvious, right? This is all about being this is all about being very strategic overall, when it comes to our roles and our careers, and in the strategy of in the direction we want to go. But I do want to say, open mindedness is important, because again, we can get into tunnel vision and say, I want to accomplish all these things. And we may miss out on one thing that we're passing or overlooking that could actually catapult where we want to go to the next level, or open us up to have access to something different. So again, be open, have open mindedness about where you are, where you want to go, and then looking at the possibilities of how you can get there. Even though you may have that exit strategy on lock, it may be, all I's dotted and T's crossed, which is fine, but still leave room for challenges, leave room for being open minded, because you could miss out on the evolution of where you need to go, or an opportunity to maybe go the ain't, because here's the thing, we know career paths are like this, right? Nothing's a straight line. We don't get there. I think there's an article I shared on my LinkedIn a while back called "Nonlinear Career Path," career directions. And I know mine has been nonlinear, so we need to be open minded to the fact that a lot of times yours is probably going to be the same way. I will just leave it at that. All right. I know some of us have to run. It's almost 1 o'clock. Any other questions before we wrap up Career Tip Tuesday? Angela says, wow, I just happened upon this, and it's truly speaking to me right where I am. Great insight and advice. Very balanced. Thank you. You are so welcome, Angela. You are so welcome. We love doing Career Tip Tuesdays with all of you. For those of you who are just now joining, my name is Sherry Sims. I am the founder of Black Career Women's Network, and we are a organization since 2012, have been helping thousands of Black women nationwide to help them create the type of change they want to see in their careers that can move their careers forward. So we have been around for a while, you all, and we love what we do. So we've been talking about why your job needs an expiration date. And just to recap these before we wrap up for the day, the first one is to make sure you have a strategic career plan. All right. That's number one. Create that exit strategy. Make sure you have it. Next thing is assess what skills you need for your next level, right? When you're talking about you wanted to create this exit strategy, what are you trying to gain in this role that's going to get you there, right? Which is what skills what do you want to gain? What goals do you want to accomplish? Okay. You want to make sure you're connecting with other professionals in your industry, because that's how you gain this connection. Let's keep your ear to the ground of what's going on. Stay on top of your industry trends and best practices, all of these things, because it's important. Again, how long do you want to stay in your current role? Right. And you don't need to put like, I'm leaving April 1st, 2025. It just needs to be, what does that time frame look like, and give yourself some room for challenges and things that may occur. You want to benchmark your progress and what you're trying to accomplish, because again, be realistic about what that looks like. And then if things get tough, look at the signs of when it's time to go. Right. So you may have good intentions to say, I want to be here for this time frame, and this is the things I want to accomplish. But if it's not working and you feel like it's time to go, know the signs of when it's time to go. And then be open, have open mindedness, because again, the journey is always may not be exactly what you think it is. So you have to know that if you or someone who currently has a non-linear career, more than likely this is going to be part of that process as well. So I think it's important to be able to make sure that you are being clear about being open about what this looks like. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. For those of you that I know Makita had talked about, our mentor summit that is going to be happening in Atlanta on April 22nd. In Atlanta, it is the first inaugural one for Atlanta, Georgia. But we also have our 8th annual mentor summit here in the headquarters, which is in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is where I am. This is where we come together with professional women, and we really give each other advice and support each other. It's mentored for us by us. And we have a fireside chat. We do a networking brunch, and then we do power mentoring sessions, and where we have professional women who come in and they get an opportunity to talk to professional in reference to getting career advice and insight on where they can go with their career. So we do this every year, our 8th year in Cincinnati. But this is my cue for me to go ahead and leave for today. Again, I'm going to leave you all with this. The life God gave you is larger than the life you've been living. God gives us all special gifts and talents, and it's our job to use those to work in our purpose. So I hope that all of you are having an amazing, amazing work day, an amazing, amazing work week, and we will see you all soon. Bye, everyone.